Thank you to everyone for watching my last video. I saw the comments asking for more, so here it is. In this video, I'm going to be comparing even more Harry Potter movie locations to the Hogwarts Legacy video games. Let's start with the house common rooms and dorms. The Gryffindor common room gets a lot of screen time in the movies and remains visually consistent throughout. This area's vibe is emulated well enough in Hogwarts Legacy. It's cozy and warm and contains the house colours. In the movies, we can see that the dorm room doors are visible from the common room itself. However, in Hogwarts Legacy, there's the addition of a middle room that branches off to the girls and boys. This makes more sense as it allows for the additional dorm rooms to be included, and in the movies, it appears that the space is fairly small considering how many students are staying there. Here's a side-by-side of these iconic bedrooms. The Slytherin common room is seen briefly only once in Chamber of Secrets when Ron and Harry drink Polyjuice Potion and enter it themselves. We can see it has a very dark, sinister colour scheme and two couches in the centre by the fireplace. A cool feature of the Slytherin common room in the game is that you can see underneath the Black Lake and its aquatic inhabitants. The Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw common rooms unfortunately aren't seen a single time in the movies, so there's nothing to compare, but hopefully the upcoming TV show will give us some more stuff to look at. Hagrid's hut changes slightly both in location and appearance in the movies. We first see the hut in Philosopher's Stone and again in Chamber of Secrets. One of the most memorable iterations of the hut for me is in Prisoner of Azkaban, when it has these huge pumpkins outside of it, an idea that is taken and used in Hogwarts Legacy, along with the stone-built look of it and general shape and silhouette. It's worth noting that in the game, Hagrid's hut isn't named as such, or even marked on the map, but we can safely say that it is the groundskeeper's hut that would eventually become his, due to its location being almost exact and its resemblance. It's empty inside, seemingly unoccupied at the moment, but it's very easy to imagine it cluttered with Hagrid's belongings and the trio sat around chatting to him. Hogsmeade in Hogwarts Legacy appears as actually quite unique, colourful and more detailed when compared to the movies. We see Hogsmeade in both Prisoner of Azkaban and briefly again in The Half-Blood Prince when they get some butterbeers and try to get closer to Professor Slughorn. But in both situations we don't get the best look around, and most of the time it is spent indoors. The interior we see in Half-Blood Prince, however, is in the Three Broomsticks, which has been recreated in Hogwarts Legacy. Again, there isn't much footage to use here to compare, but I feel the vibe is captured fairly well and it does read as the same place, which is impressive. The Great Hall shows up plenty throughout the Harry Potter movies, though I don't have too much to say about the movie versions and I think we're all plenty familiar with this location. As for Hogwarts Legacy, the game captures this area exceptionally well, even improving on it in some ways. A detail I really like in Hogwarts Legacy is that the lanterns are hung by each animal that represents each of the houses, and I like the window at the back with stained glass for each of the houses as well. The illusory sky is also there as expected. The Great Hall in Hogwarts Legacy appears a little wider and larger to me than the hall in the movies, due to it not being entirely walled in and instead using pillars and a little space to walk around the back. In Hogwarts Legacy, there is this impactful entranceway with stairs that connects the courtyard, Great Hall, and moving staircase. There's one such place that might exist in the earliest movies that is implied to be here. In the Philosopher's Stone, they used old castles to shoot in, and there's this area. It's implied to be somewhere between the boathouses and the Great Hall, but it's hard to place exactly where this implied space is. I've always thought that this area is exactly where these stairs are in the game, but it actually could be much closer to the boathouses too. These stairs are never used again, so when shooting is done in the later films, this area doesn't exist anyway. Dumbledore's office entrance has a golden statue of a griffin that requires a password to enter. Comment below if you know the password. On the inside we can see its medium-sized room, its shape being like that of circles overlapping. The first circle contains a variety of magical knickknacks and tools, one of the more important ones to the story being the pensieve. Further into the room is the headmaster's desks, with stairs flanking on the left and right that lead to this slightly raised area, and immediately behind the desk is a small cubby. If we look at the Hogwarts Legacy version of this space, we can see that it does fit that description almost to a T. It's very impressive. I love the way the Forbidden Forest looks in the first film with its thick fog and these giant trees, though in Hogwarts Legacy the forest is much more dense and feels actually quite small as it doesn't take too long to run through the entirety of it. The defense against the dark arts classroom, as shown in the first film when it's taught by Professor Quirrell, is an entirely different classroom from the more commonly used and iconic one that is first introduced in Chamber of Secrets. We can see that this room has a slight curve, lovely wooden floorboards, and gorgeous stone arches on the sides, as well as animal skeletons decorating the walls above, and the students' desks are typically in lines in the middle. I like to think this raised platform leading to the teacher's room was created by the set designers simply to amplify the egocentric, narcissistic, and pompous personality of Gilderoy Lockhart during his first introduction, but then it stuck as a main feature, as actually it looks quite nice and feels like it makes sense. If we quickly fast forward to Order of the Phoenix, we can see that a large window has been added to the back of the classroom. Hogwarts Legacy manages to keep pretty much every integral element of the movies in this version of the classroom, while still weaving in a little bit of the teacher's personality of being an anti-poacher conservationist. The Charms classroom is seen in the Philosopher's Stone, and although we don't see it for longer than one scene, I'm very impressed by how well they've captured elements of it in Hogwarts Legacy. The room in the game has names carved into the walls, tiered desk seating arrangements, and a raised platform for the teacher to stand on at the front of the class. Also connected to this classroom is the cell which Sirius Black is kept in during The Prisoner of Azkaban. We see the hospital wing quite a lot throughout the series as Harry, Ron, and Hermione all end up hospitalized at some point. Fun fact, the Skelligro Harry drinks in Chamber of Secrets was actually invented by one of his ancestors, which is how he became rich. The hospital wing in Hogwarts Legacy shares a similar room shape and layout, just with a little more decoration and blue and gold beds instead of white. But the vibes of these places do very much feel the same. And the last location I want to look at is the boathouse. Strangely enough, unlike many other locations in the film series, we don't see inside the boathouse properly until Deathly Hallows Part 2, when Snape and Voldemort meet, and even then it's a very dark scene. Still, we can get a little glimpse into how it looks, mainly from this shot here. Much of the boathouse is windowed and has columns in the centre, with a small area in the middle for the boats. Here we can even recreate the shot from Deathly Hallows fairly well. Well, that's all the areas I wanted to cover in Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you for watching this video, and please consider subscribing and have a look at my other videos. See ya!